Hi, everyone. Okay, I just want to wish everyone this month happy birthday. Happy birthday. This is recorded in Libra season, so if you're aware of your full map, wherever Libra sits, well, the sun is going through that space. So that may be something you want to think about. If you don't know what that means, well, I guess what you can focus on is putting more light or love and joy, confidence and courage into your relationships, believing in yourself as a partner, as a friend, as a colleague, etc. Yeah. And if you're new to this space, this channel is called Opal Oracle. That's what I named it. So we're making a pyramid this month. We have 3 different sets of cards. There weren't any extra messages. Oh, except for one little one where there's something about like someone being real quick in their reflexes this month. Like someone's real quick with something to catch it. Like if there's a little mistake, a bit, oop, it's or you kind of stumble a little bit. I feel like someone will catch themselves really quickly, put themselves back on track. Okay, let's see your first card. Awesome. Okay, these are affirminators. I think these cards are really funny. I'm just going to read it straight off the card. This technically has to do with work. That's a bit of the intention, but it obviously connects to the whole. It says, I turbo boost. It's called follow through. I turbo boost my stamina and activate the power of commitment, enjoying the satisfaction that comes with following through on everything that I start. This month, everything is getting the follow-through treatment. No missed deadlines, no forgotten email threads, no sitting around here while there is a perfectly good happy hour going on somewhere right now across the street. Show some commitment, people. So I suppose this is a bit of what I'm seeing this as is it's a bit of, yes, a list to do could be helpful this month. You definitely want to do what you say. I feel like that would be highly beneficial and rewarded. Once you get the things done that you need to, also please make enough time again to be with other people, socialize a bit more. Say you get invited to something and you say yes. Don't do the quick text like, I'm not really feeling it, or make up an excuse or anything. Like if you say you're going to do it, do it. And I feel like if there's a good attitude around it, this power of commitment keeps, let me write that down. Power of commitment. When it's healthy, when it's good, when you know that what you're saying yes to is right for you, then I see again that being rewarded. Some of you could also meet a new person this way. I could also see that you, in ways of your work, this could also, you following through, being organized, handling things, is also respected and noticed. It's an example for others also, right? Interesting. Okay, I like that. I like that. This guy's funny. I don't know if you can see, I'm on the other side of the table. You probably can't see that. It's like a little to-do list, and he's like, dun, dun, dun. Got it. It feels so good to check it off, And, sometimes also if you are kind of if there's a little bit of a stagnant energy, or you're trying to get yourself out of a funk, or like into this more dedication, little tiny things are really helpful to write on your list. Brush your teeth, take a shower, call your mother, talk to a friend. This actually reminds me of something my sister taught me too. I'd like to share. She's such a great teacher. She used to have this rule of thumb when she was really busy with work, because she runs a few businesses. She's very apt, very, very business savvy, my sister. Very busy girl, woman. But But one of the things that she would do when she actually had a lot on her plate was tell herself, okay, this week I want to talk to 3 strangers. Every week she tried to talk to 3 strangers. Not like full-on conversation, invite them home for dinner. It's just kind of like have a little bit of an interaction with something that usually wasn't interacted with. That could also be helpful if you have time. Or I guess what it is if you want to make time for that. Because again, this could be, I really feel like there could be some satisfaction that also comes through socialization. Maybe, again, you can meet a new person or connect to something that you need to. That would be good for you in the future. It has to do maybe with your future goals, too. Let's see. Oh, fascinating. Just a second. We have the Explorer and the Oath. Okay, so someone's definitely dedicated to the path. There's a lot of, this all speaks of dedication. When's the last time you cut your hair? Do you have a lock of hair, a lock of someone's hair? This is about Pack Light. It reminds me of a reading we did on Patreon, actually called Pack Light. It had to do with Saturn. Pack Light. You realize when you go on a journey sometimes that it isn't worth it to try to bring everything with you. You know, it's too heavy, and in all honesty, when one has a path and a purpose, a place to be, then it's really the simple things that matter. I see all the magic you need is actually within you. And I see you want to make sure you have good walking shoes. Like, make sure your shoes are comfortable. Like, what kind of shoes do you wear mostly? Do you wear boots? Do you wear sneakers? Flip-flops? High heels? What do you... What's your basic shoe? It says a lot about a person, right? Their feet. You can tell a lot. You know, you can always tell an undercover cop by the shoes. You know? Like, somebody's, like, no matter how someone else dresses up everything else, when you look at their feet, you can always kind of tell, like, a bit of what kind of person they are, right? Or whether they're pretending, or whether they're comfortable, you know? I used to never trust people in sandals, especially a man. I used to never trust a man in sandals. But I guess it depends where you are, right? The sandals are for the beach. That's what they're for, and that is all. Shoes are really, this is so interesting. It's like, it shows practicality, right? Especially what shoes you wear when you're doing what, right? Things are for certain purposes. Huh. Let's see your other cards. Okay. What's that song? Pleasure come my way. I love it when we're grooving together. Pleasure come my way. Okay, so you got to get rid of the ghosts. Someone has to get rid of the ghost. You gotta digest all the ghosts to be able to get to the next level. When you do, then there's a crossroads after that. Someone could kind of feel like they're in a bit of a maze. But I guess there's really one way in and one way out. So eventually one will find their way. Maybe this has to do with this exploring. I guess one of the things that could be very helpful, this could be a part of the, okay, that's going that, it's all coming back into this left side. Hold on. Okay, I'm feeling a bit of fixed energy. Sometimes when one commits themselves to something, they feel like, okay, well, I've spent a lot of time and energy on that, so I have to, if you feel obligated to do something, ultimately, and that's the only reason, is obligation, then that's not healthy anymore, right? If you're doing it because, okay, like say a parent is obligated to take care of its child, right? It's a responsibility. But of course, the parent loves the child, or a job, right? It's just like, okay, well, finds the positivity in it and it is healthy. Okay, continue on. Now, just because someone also needs space, how do I explain this? I keep thinking about how to, dang it, it's overwhelming. Just a minute. Hold on. Well, someone's gone a really long way. I do see that someone needs to cut themselves away from something, like something that they were committed to, so that they can commit to something new. Maybe someone needs to believe in themselves more. You know, that they could get more done in a day than they think. That they could have commitments with others that are powerful and satisfactory, right? Healthy. Maybe someone needs to believe in themselves. I would also say if you're married or you are already committed in that kind of way, it could very well be that a little bit of time alone, like someone going off and being like, hey, I need a weekend to myself or something like that. That's really helpful to the scenario. But if the situation is where always at the end of it, someone's trying to run away from something, like, oh, okay, well, if anyone's running away from the responsibilities and that follow through, this maze is going to be way more complicated, right? And every time you go back, if for some reason a person distanced themselves and then goes back and it's the same maze, then the follow through would be cutting yourself free of that some way, somehow, and starting again, something new, right? And this is showing commitment, maybe even to yourself or to who you are now. There was another reading on the same day that talked about flexibility and a person that makes themselves small, sometimes to fit in or to not cause trouble or to what have you. But that always feels off, you know, and uncomfortable. And all people are growing, right? You're growing. Don't forget about that. Sometimes that's how we bust through the wall, is through growth, you know, even testing or challenging ourselves, you know, like I'm going to add 2 extra things to my list this week and, you know, and see how it goes. Also, I suppose a verbal confirmation of what you want to do or be committed to, right? That's going to make a huge difference also. You know, sometimes we believe, well, I don't know if I can get that done, or I don't know if I can do that. But if it's really something that you want to do, it'll always be done. Do you know what I mean? Because you'll make time for it. And there's power in the word, you know. There's really strong power in the word. So I do see some really beautiful healing here also with family. I suppose actually, if someone, I feel like someone needs a little bit more confidence. The reading that was recorded on the same day will be helpful. I feel like it's folding back down. It like almost makes like a diamond shape. It makes a diamond. It's Aries, right? Let's see. Well, I guess you want to ask yourself what kind of person you are. Are you a person that is very self-motivating? You know, you make a list, you check it twice, you get it done. No one tells you what to do. You just handle it. Your boss doesn't have to tell you. Your mother doesn't have to, whoever doesn't, your roommates don't have to tell you that the dishes need to be done, or you need toilet paper, or this needs to, etc. Or are you a kind of person that needs someone to tell you what to do? I feel like as if there's an underlying, again, it's like a family dynamic. It has to do with Leo, something to do with Leo. It could have to do with your father for some of you also, but there's also a lot of healing in that, but it's kind of complex. It's kind of complex. Oh yeah, devil. Yeah, it's complex. What is important to you right now? Usually when we take a break from something, we do something a little bit different again, and one comes back into it. Usually there should be like a replenishment of energy, right? Like, oh, I just went on a little vacation, or I took the weekend off. You went on that fishing trip with your homeboys, and then you come back to the family, or whatever it is. It's like that should, when you come back into it, you should feel good. They should feel good. The combination of that feels solid, right? Because space is healthy. But if and whenever someone takes space, and say it's someone's leaving out of a problem, like they're leaving out of stress or something like that, whatever you go into next time, it's going to be the same energy is going to be there. Energy doesn't move. You have to move it, whether that's in you or change the dynamic of what you're working with. Now, I see that if there is passion here, but someone has to be dedicated, like someone has to cut themselves off of something that they've been dedicated to for so long, but it's not healthy. For some of you, this could be like way too much over independence. For others of you, it's like the total flip of the coin, and it's like almost like a codependency thing. It's almost like there isn't a fork. There isn't like a fork in the road. It's just one path, and there's back where you were and where you're going. So you want to try to find this I guess how you find the middle path. Oh, there we go. Okay. Found it. So we had to make space. If we make the space, and you activate your power of commitment, that's very important. To your job, to yourself, to God, right? To spirit. That nothing is possible without him. So then your power of commitment to your employer, to your family, to your spouse, to your children is stronger, right? How does your father follow through? Now, if there is a little bit of a lack of energy, or inspiration or even confidence a little bit, then remember that there's something it's like all if you can't if for some reason again that stamina isn't there, then there's something emotional underlying it that's almost like I keep seeing water pooling into a place. Maybe some of you need a new haircut, or need to socialize a bit more. Maybe even with some new folks, you know? Like, try again with something. It's like you want to look at your Rahu Ketu also, your North Node and your South Node, if you know what that means. In a general sense, I also see, how do you deal with crises? Like when there's a crisis, how do you deal? Huh. I guess that goes back into what kind of person you are. The self-motivation, right? And the power of commitment. Very interesting. I really feel like someone is changing what they are committed to. Or it needs to change. If someone doesn't take the again, that self-initiative, that self-motivation to do it, it'll happen anyway. Like that which someone is connected to, it'll just sort of get lost and kind of peter off. So you really want to make a list of the future and what you're desiring there, you know, a little bit. And please check in with what's emotional, because Chiron and the South Node, which are both Mars energies, until the end of the year are aspecting one another in a really difficult way. So this is a really deep undercurrent of kind of emotional, psychological stuff. Because technically we can't always make it positive, because sometimes, for instance, we have to admit that we can't do everything, you know, what we can and cannot do. And recognizing why, right? Sometimes people, for instance, can be committed to thinking that they're a failure, you know, or that all relationships end the same, or, you know, feeding from that past, the other story, the old stories. So try to find the sparkle in what you're desiring in the future too, you know, and I see it's never too late. And don't be late for the very important date, right? Again, follow through on what you say. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was of service. By the way, during Leo season, the August, there was such a beautiful extension of love and support and consideration and kindness and appreciation. Did I say that? And I just want to thank all of you so much for that. It was needed and it was felt. And I really appreciate all of you extending that. You know, because we're all weak sometimes. And go through things. And realizing that we have support is a really beautiful thing, you know. So wherever we can't hold our own, then we have something to lean on. So thanks for your love. And I do hope your month is wonderful. Happy equinox. I'll talk to you before Halloween. But yeah, thank you also anyone who I work with privately. It's been a pleasure over these years, and I'm sure will continue to be so. And any of you also who have joined the Garden of Patreon, whether you're new or you've been there for a while, thank you, triply thank you for that. That's a whole nother extra step in wanting to learn and grow. And yeah, I thank you for taking that self-motivation and initiative. If you are new here and curious about it, there's readings about herbal astrology. We just did one on Colt's Foot, which is really awesome. I was happy to find that plant where I was. And we do astrological forecast, and I've been doing this Motivational Mondays, which is sort of a weekly thing. And there's timeless readings and mythological readings. There's a lot of astrology classes too, if you're interested in that, regardless of the level that you're at. They go from basic to advanced. So if I can consider myself even close to that, it's a pretty vast place to learn about. So anyway, I thank you, and I hope you have a great month. Happy birthday. Talk to you later. Peace. Oh, shit.